Hey everybody, good morning. Brian the Rat Ride car part builder, mechanic, whatever you want to call me. Don't call me late for lunch, and if you do, don't feed me. Man, I had a wonderful breakfast. I mean, it was good. Now I'm not here to talk about my breakfast and what I ate. I'm here about talking about this rat ride. Oh, disclaimer too. Uh, I'm not here promoting my breakfast by all means, so don't show up with a fork in your hand because you might not get fed because I ate it all. Anyway, let's get on back to this rat ride here I'm talking about. Okay, if y'all notice in a lot of my videos, I have this old 1948 Ford F-Series truck that I built about 14 years ago. And started off with a cab. It was a parts donor for I had another 48 truck. Then I used all the parts for this and from this one to make the one I had, and I sold it on eBay or whatever happened. It was nice, had air conditioning, it was a nice street rod. And so I had this thing, and an old guy told me one day, he made me mad. He said, you ought to cut that old piece of junk up. And just how he said it was very arrogant, and I just got an attitude. I said, no, I'm going to build this truck. And so I did. And it had now I said it had a cab. It was a roller, and let me take that back. It had a chassis, and I pulled, like I said, pulled all the good parts on, the good body pieces and what have you, fenders and all that good stuff on the other truck I built. So the chassis I had was a 3/4 ton chassis, long wheelbase. And I said, nah, I'm not going to use it. I was going to cut it all up. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start from scratch. And so I built the chassis, and I used 2x4 square tubing. And boxed it all up in the front. This is the 1941 Lincoln Mercury Zephyr straight axle. Got a cool look, it's down a little bit. It's got, I don't know how many inches it's dropped from a regular 40s, early 40s straight axle, but it's just cool, and it's got a longer wheelbase, I should say. So it kind of matches my wheelbase from the back tires. And I got a Chrysler running gear, rear end. I believe it's a Dana, and then also 318 and a 904 with a lockup torque converter. This thing really cruises nice on the highway. And then I got my battery tray there, and I had made a heat sink, and that's that battery box there. That's my old grill, my barbecue gas grill that gave up the ghost a long time ago, and so that's what happened. It made a nice battery cover, and the frame is bed railing from old frame of a bed. So there you go, and you can build these rat rides. If you've got a welder and grinder and stuff, you can build it. You can do it. A dummy like me did it. Anybody can do it. And I got that old HEI distributor. On there, and I've used the I used the F-Series Ford with the flathead, V8. Well, I used its radiator, and I blocked off this port because the flathead Ford V8s have two water pumps, so I didn't need those extra. Let me go around there, show you. So I didn't need that bottom one and that top one, so I just blocked it off, and that's the way I've been running it for all these years, over a decade now, and it's never run hot, runs cool. This old engine came out of the whole running gear came out of like a New Yorker, a Chrysler New Yorker, 83 model, and I Z'd it in the back, and I don't know if you could see that where I did that, and it's got the beautiful Latina on it. That's a gas tank it was an air tank, from Lowe's. Portable air tank, and I made a gas tank out of it, and I used a filling port. It used to be here, and I put steel back in there. That's steel now. That ain't fiberglass and Bondo and bug screen or whatever. That's steel. I did all steel. That's one thing about it. When I work on it, I make sure I put steel back in. It looks kind of rough, but it isn't. It's solid old truck. But what I'm going to show you, this is what my point of my video was. I talked about the original chassis for this cab, and I still got it. And I'm going to show you that right now. We're going to take a little walk. There's my cooler I cleaned out there, and actually made it for, put soap in there and a little bit of bleach and cleaned my truck off. Made a nice little bucket, cleaned the cooler out too. But here's the chassis. Now, the truck originally looked like this. This is a 51 Ford F1 series, basically the same truck, and it had a flathead 8 in it also. So that's what it was, and this is what it ended up being. This is the chassis that used to be this chassis underneath this truck. I can show you parts of it here, kind of give you an idea. Well, this is the front of it, and that's the rear of the chassis that I turned around and I flipped upside down. And so that's the rear of that chassis that I have flipped up and made for the front. And that's where I'm going to put the axle under there. That's my plan. Putting the straight axle right under there. And I got some wishbones a wishbone that I split. And I'm going to make the perches right there where that little stand is for the chassis, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I'm going to have the axle right underneath that chassis. So that was the rear of the original chassis. Now it's going to be the front of a chassis for the next Rat Ride project. And it may be the Rat Ride I had there. Maybe I'll go and remodel it. I don't know. Remodel it sounds like I'm a builder. Well, I am a Rat Ride builder, but I'm not a house builder. But here you go. That's square tubing that I put 2x4 square tubing. And then this is the front of the F-Series truck chassis that I flipped around. And it's for the rear of this Rat Ride project. And I also got a spring for a buggy spring, what they call buggy spring. Model A's, Model T's, 40 Fords had them, all the way up to 47 when they come out with the shoebox Ford. But I'm going to have a buggy spring in there. I have it somewhere. I don't know where. That ain't the spring. That's a F-Series spring for the front. But so that's what I did, and I built it up. So that's what we call Z-ing it. I Z'd it. And so there you go. That's the, if it sounds confusing, it is, but that is the front of an F-Series truck chassis. It is now the rear of the chassis of my next Rat Ride project. And I'm going to go with a buggy spring. I like that, and it will take more horsepower that way if you set it up and do it right. So I'm going to actually go with the buggy spring. That was my intent, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to put. I got a wishbone that I split, and I'm going to have split wishbones for this thing. I already got everything. I got everything to make a roller out of her, but she's been dialed in pretty good. I did everything with angle finder and leveled out, and she's ready to roll here, man, for the set. And like I said, I did this. Built this chassis 10 years ago, and why I stopped? Well, I went out and got a job. The economy went bad. I think it's been over about maybe 14 years ago. I don't know. It's been a while. Well, my economy got bad, and I went out and got a regular job. I used to be self-employed, and so that's why you haven't seen me much on YouTube. I was doing crazy videos and all that stuff at the time back then, and I was just trying to dial in my life the way it was going. I had to end up getting a real job, I guess. So here shortly, if you go to my channel, I'm talking about Social Security and retiring at age 62 versus 65. I'm 63, or 60, I'm lying now. I'm 64, and I'm going to be 65. So the old man insurance is picked in. That's Medicare, so that'll be ready for December. And so maybe I'll be one of these Rat Ride builders you see all the time building stuff, and I'll learn how to film and edit stuff better by then. Maybe if my grandchildren or somebody has time to teach me how to use all this electronic and all this high tech. I am a boomer, so you got to work with me. Hey, you know what? If you please, and my son says, please, Dad, tell him please to tap the like, ring the notice bell. That way you can be noticed in my next video, and give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down. I'm 64 years old now. If I can't take criticism, might as well give up. But that's all good. But yeah, and I'm going to build this. And when the retirement age comes in there, when I start retiring full time, and maybe I'll get a part-time job bagging groceries at Publix or something. I don't know. To, make some little bad money to hopefully to fund this project. Or maybe if I become an overnight sensation on YouTube. maybe I'll get maybe I'll have more material for you folks out there. So anyway, hey, God bless you. Thank you for watching, and y'all come back, yeah.